It's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
And we're live for show number 151. Full house here tonight. This is where you can get your questions answered about real estate investing with a high emphasis on getting in real estate, involved in real estate without using your cash or credit. So I have Adria here, I have Renika here. And please share this, like it. And if you want to join us and ask your question here live on video on YouTube and Facebook, simply go to comps101.com and tap the red button that says join us live. So with no further talking from me, you don't see anything, Adrian? No. Yeah, refresh.
I will do. Okay, welcome guys. Hopefully you can hear as well. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. As Flipman said, this is a place where you ask your questions in regards to wholesaling real estate. I will read your questions, or with our new system, you can ask them yourselves. And then the beautiful Miss Renikia or Ty will answer them for you. So go ahead and make sure you go ahead and start posting those questions in the comment section. Do apologize for running a little bit late, but that's okay. We're still going to get some really good information today. So Renikia, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. That's good.
Muddling through. Okay.
Yes.
So, Ty, do you want to reiterate the offer that you put up last week?
Oh yeah, I really appreciate. I should have been prepared to read off some of the people that have taken advantage of the free courses by duetting 50 of my posts on TikTok. Again, I didn't prepare for that. We rushed in here or whatever, but forgive me. Don't kill me. But anyway, you can still get the same thing. You can get access to the courses on wholesaling houses and apartment buildings. No coaching. All you have to do is, if you go watch any of my recent videos, it'll explain it. You really need to watch those because it gives instructions. Like the video that I put up with my man Vincent that did $20,000 on a virtual wholesale deal. If you'll watch that video towards the end, it'll explain exactly how to do it, because that's really important that you do it the way it's needed. I know a lot of people haven't used TikTok, not familiar, so I give a demonstration video on how it's a really simple app or whatever. You'll thank me later on that too. But so that's it. So again, if you want to be able to ask your questions live here tonight, just go to comps101.com, tap the button that says join us live now, and you can ask the question. We're not going to forget about the people in the chat. We're going to try to manage this as best as possible. So don't kill Adria.
Why I'm on the shopping block?
Hey, direct your anger at me. We're just trying to, mix it up, make it a little bit more. You got to agree that when we can go back and forth with someone about a question, because sometimes we don't get the full picture of what they're trying to ask or whatever, versus, not that the other hadn't worked, but, we're trying to use technology at its best. I should have been doing it because that feature's been available. So.
All right, so we're going to jump right into this thing, giving a few shout outs to Cliffhanger, user with a bunch of numbers on TikTok, our Neriana, we're going to go with that, Sylvester the Butler, AI, Wendy Gray, Eric, I see you, our movie quote guru, Larry, thank you for joining us, Devon, which is Billy in the virtual billing, Summer Tea Cafe, Po Boy, Nelly Lee, Pompey, Demon, CO 113258. Thank you for joining us. I see you all the time. Santasha, Jimmy, Cool Kid, Chris Monroe, Black, Anthony L, Monica, Angel, Anthony Gutierrez, and Cameron White. Mustasha, I see you too. I didn't forget, I'm sorry, about our guys on Instagram. I see you as well. So Age Father of Victory, RPG Jenkins, Pretty Priceless, and Ashley, I see you're on too. Actually, yeah, it's actually on both of them. I think so. All right, so let's jump back right into the questions. And this is from Age Father of Victory. And the question is simply, Renikia, what is real estate investing?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. What is real estate investing? I really never defined that, but real estate investing is the ability to buy properties or real estate at I guess, a wholesale price or a lower price, where you can buy low, sell high. It's a concept of being able to buy real estate low and sell high, or be able to buy real estate at a wholesale and collect cash flow from it. Your personal home could be a real estate investment. So, it's just really truly investing your money and buying real estate. If you've been buying it for the low, sell high, or you buying it for long-term rental. What do you think?
Well, I'm just going to read what one of the definition Google has here.
Mm-hmm.
I always suggest people, you don't know some, just say define real estate investing. But anyway, real estate investing involves the purchase, ownership, management, rental, and or sale of real estate for profit. That means you're basically buying whether it's land, a house, a commercial building, apartments, self-storage, hotel, motel, warehousing, an arena, a theater. I can just go on and on. The intent is to make money from it. That is that simple. You buy a piece of real estate with the intent of making money from it. That's real estate investing. I invested in something and I'm looking for a return from my investment.
Okay, we're gonna go with that. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. The cliffhanger says, "Much love and respect, bro. Your TikToks and content are next level." I would have to agree. Yes, and that was divine from Philly, not Billy. I was wondering. I was like, okay, you can be from Billy if you want to. Billy. Okay. Sylvester Butler on TikTok wants to know, why do you need to add an earnest money deposit for the seller?
Well, it's defined as you need consideration. Someone told me your signature can be consideration. Someone responded to a reply on TikTok, but we can go back to Google again if you want. I'll read that and try to break it down in layman's terms. So define earnest money deposit or real estate. All right, it says earnest money is a deposit made to a seller that represents a buyer's good faith to buy a home or a property. The money gives the buyer extra time to get financing and conduct the title search, property appraisal, and inspection before closing. If they don't close, the seller keeps the money. That's basically it. It's just showing, hey, I am serious about it. Now, there's no set amount. I argue day and night on a couple of posts I have on TikTok. Talking about it has to be 1%. No, that is not a law. That is just a standard that some in the real estate world, normally brokers, commercial normally with that, because a lot of times with real estate agents on the residential side, it's not 1% per se. It's like 500,000, maybe 1,500, 2,000. But that's not a law. It can be a penny. It can be a pair of shoes or whatever, just whatever you and the seller agree upon. Now, because you have the gatekeeper involved, which is a real estate agent or a broker, they're trying to make sure they're not wasting their time. Now, they'll say they're not trying to waste the client's time either, but at the end of the day, they may be trying to accomplish both at the same time. We get it or whatever, but in reality, there's no set amount. So like probably my second most popular video on TikTok is I just hold out $10 and show you can flip a house with that $10, which you use for earnest money deposit or whatever. But it's just a security contract. You don't perform, they keep the earnest money. Well, you say $10 not a lot. Well, again, it's whatever you and the seller agree upon. Well, you say, well, who would do that? They call an individual like that a motivated seller. Just because you got your SHIT together, everybody else don't. You know what I'm saying? You got your stuff together. I'm going through a divorce. I made my financial decisions with this person. Now that's finna go to half. I ain't got my stuff together no more. You know what I'm saying? Or I just got a medical situation. My insurance not going to cover, but so much it's about to financially ruin me. But I got this piece of real estate that can help save the situation, right? I'm tired of being a landlord. I've been a Section 8 landlord or just straight rent landlord. People not paying me. I've had 3 bad tenants in a row. I'm done. I want to sell this piece of real estate. So yeah, I'll take $10 earnest money and a penny if you. I've had people say you write on the contract $10 earnest money and they pull out $10. You know what I'm saying? Like nah, I'm supposed to give it to you or whatever. So anyway, I don't know if that answered or not, but you know.
Oh, that's perfect.
There we have it. Now, you guys on TikTok, I think you guys are saying that you can't see anything. We had the issue last week. It's not loading.
I'm gonna have to stop it and start it back. I don't know what's the deal there because I see some other people stuff like that too. So
yeah.
So
just give us a moment there. Keep in mind, guys, we are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope. There's other platforms.
Did you see me? Did you see me? Okay, why you didn't tell me?
We're talking.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't trying to be rude.
Oh, I am. Nobody in the thing.
Okay, no, nobody's in the thing.
It's one person.
It says not connected for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to drive ask your questions live here on with Renika and I, just go to comps101.com and select the red button that says join us live now.
Can I handle this? I got this.
All right.
Really? Got this. Eric wants to know, Ty, this is going to be for you. Can you build a list from Dealulator and use text to flip, or do you have to skip beforehand? And what he's talking about is Dealulator, aka PropStream. I suggest each one of you visit Dealulator.com. It is now in app form, so visit your iTunes and or Google Play accounts and download that app. It is a paid subscription service, but it is a wonderful tool to add to your wholesaling tool chest. So can he do that?
Say that again.
Can you build a list from Dealulator and use text to flip?
Yes.
Or do you have to skip beforehand?
Well, once you build a list, it has to be skipped. And then you upload it to, which is batch leads, but you go through text to flip or whatever. It has to be skipped before you upload it there.
Because you need the phone numbers.
Yeah, you need the phone numbers.
Yeah.
Well, let me back up. You can't actually skip it inside the same software or whatever. So to answer your question, you can't do it both ways actually. So, but you need the phone numbers. At the end of the day, you need the phone numbers. So.
All right, TikTok is back up. And Emily Nolan, I watch your videos. Thank you so much for what you do. That's awesome. Thank you for being here tonight. Now, Cameron White says, through batch leads, I got a lead on 8 acres of raw land valued at $145K. How do I determine the MAO? I'm in Douglasville, Georgia, by the way.
Yeah.
How many
What's
acres?
MAO?
8 acres. 8 acres.
Valued at 145.
That's Renika deal.
Yeah, and he wants to know.
What's MAO?
He asking what's the maximum allowable offer.
Oh, okay. With the acres, you can go by. I'm assuming you can go by the tax records and just see what the value of the land in the tax records. But most importantly, when you selling land, from the way that I have done it, when you selling land, I want to sell the vision of what needs to go on the land as well, because what goes on the land is really going to give the value to the land. Land by itself is just land, and it doesn't have, depending on where it is, it doesn't have the highest value. What gives the land value is the dwelling that is built on top. So you want to kind of either go by the tax record on how much the land value from the tax records, or also kind of build out a vision of what could possibly be done on this property to see, how you can back yourself into, the maximum allowed offer.
Anything, Ty?
Oh no, nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay, so NLL Credit Solutions on Instagram. Where have you been? The question is it true? Is it really, really true that you can start wholesaling with literally no money? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Just stay right here where you are.
We have a perfect example. When did I upload that? The video I uploaded Tuesday with my man Visson. He's a repeat. He found a property just through conversation with some guys in a town outside of his market, and told him what he did and told him if they knew anybody need to sell a house. So this guy knew someone and called him, and he never saw the property. He never met the owner. He never met the cash buyer. And he never spent any money to do it, literally. And that now don't work that easy now, but you can. You're gonna have an easy. Let me put like the deal with the finding a house part of it was easy because it was out a little bit outside his market. The buyer side of it was a little bit more challenging. He had a buyer. They were taking too long. They were going to lose the interest. He went ahead and gave the earnest money back to him or whatever, just because he didn't know they can buy. He didn't want to ruin that relationship or whatever. And then the other person stepped up and paid what he was actually asking for it. He made 20 grand on it. So that's like, oof. Literally didn't spend any money. You can make money off of techniques.
Okay. So funny thing, you mentioned that. Let's talk about techniques. So this question is from D. She's from Cleveland. She's done 3 deals so far in 2020. And she says she needs a niche, a market, and consistent lead flow. She wants to know, what's your opinion on probate leads and where do you suggest I get training? So she wants to find one little area of wholesaling, one avenue of it, and just focus completely on that, it sounds like. But do we suggest that? And if so we do, how do you go about that?
Well, if you just want probate, you can look up the video Probate Flip Man, and my man at Chad from All the Leads. They're experts at it. If you want to focus on the probate, just understand that that's those are the grind methods. You know what I'm saying? You got to have I don't care what type of leads you generate. You got to have a lot of them, but those they're more time consuming a lot of times or whatever. So no matter what it is, for the most part, you're going to have competition, and people are going to be trying to pursue the same thing. Some of it in larger numbers than others, but whatever you do, you want to be consistent with it. So my question, Renika, to her, how did you find those deals?
Right.
Sound like you need to duplicate that, whatever you did to find those 3 deals.
Okay.
And I'll add to that. I mean, the name of the wholesaling game is lead generation. I don't think it's just one over the other. I think you probably want to focus on the top 3 that works in your backyard instead of just focus on one way. That's okay, but that's almost like putting all your apples in one basket. And as an entrepreneur, we know that that's just very risky to put all your apples in one basket. So I'll focus on what's working, but most importantly, do maybe 2 to 3. Find that 2 to 3 marketing strategies that just work for your backyard. So you're not really focusing on one source of leads, because wholesaling is just a lead generating business.
Okay. So Monica Johnson has a really easy question for you, Ty, and we're going to tie it into Chandler Major on Instagram. Monica just wants to know, where can I pull up the contract? And Chandler wants to know, how do you know how to do all the contracts? So where can we find it, and where will you tell us how to fill it out?
To access the contract that I've been using since 2003, and others have used all over the country since I've been giving it away 2007, 2008. As a matter of fact, next month, I think August 6th, will be 12 years that I've been putting content on YouTube. Well, I guess technically already 12 years because but anyway, so you can access that same contract, and I tried to make it as easy as possible for everyone. Is number one, you can watch the video. Just go to YouTube and do a search for Flip Man 2020 contract, right? That particular video is going to, number one, show you how you can get it free. but also how to fill it out for sellers and buyers, and how to use a service like DocuSign, where you, once you fill it out, you download it. Now you just upload as your DocuSign, place your signature, you have the email address of the seller, you send it to them, and just click, click, click. As soon as they confirm it and quote unquote sign it or whatever, you get a notification, boom, you have your contract with your seller. You can do the same thing with your buyer. Now, everyone will not want to do it that way. Whereas in most cases, I say most will. I mean, most won't, but enough will. In this situation, most will, some won't. So.
All right, guys. So there's that contract. Dealulater.com or just
let's take a video, man. I can't take it no more.
I know. I am going to. You gonna let me do this?
Let's take a video, man. I can't take it no more.
Let's
get to the technology, man.
I got it. All right, Block Brothers. I see y'all over there giggling and laughing.
No, it's Block Properties.
Block Properties.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
What's
up? How y'all doing?
Hey, we can't see. One of y'all got to get in the screen.
Somebody.
Split. I can see
too close.
Okay. All right.
We're good. Where are you fellas from?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville. Okay.
What's happening?
You got a question for us tonight?
We do. We've got a subject property that's sitting on about a city acre. And we've called a municipality in the city, and they let us know we can variance it in almost 3 properties. So we're trying to figure out the evaluation and how to adjust the ARV for something like that. Can you give us some pointers on how we could determine the value of the property?
Okay. What's the norm? Is it in a neighborhood?
Yeah. Yes.
What's the norm? I'm like, if the acre is abnormal, what's the normal size lot?
0.3.
Okay, so now what I would do is, and Renika may have a different opinion on it, but what I would do is I'm going to take a house that's of similar square footage of that house, built near the same year, within 5 years, up or down, and I'm going to use that as the actual target property, and then come from there, and then I may adjust it for, since those lots are 3 times smaller, I may add another 20 or 30, maybe 20 grand to it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But to be on the safe side, I'm going to treat it just like those 1.3, and the acre is just a bonus. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I'm going to negotiate. I may give a little bit more room because of the large acre or whatever, but not much. I'm going to treat it as it's sitting on 0.3 also.
Okay.
What do you think, baby girl?
So just to make sure I have it clear, you all are purchasing an acre of land, and you want to subdivide that into 3 parcels and build 3 different properties.
2 additional parcels.
I missed that part of it.
Yeah, it'd be 2 additional parcels.
Oh, there's no house on it?
Yeah, there's one house
on it. Oh, okay.
So there's an acre with a house on it, and you want to subdivide it and create 2 properties.
Yes, it can be subdivided to create 2 properties,
right.
And we want to know how to price that to other investors.
Okay,
we're trying to wholesale this.
Okay, so what I would do is, first and foremost, if it's not already subdivided, then you have to sell the whole vision to one client, because if it's not already parceled out, you can't sell 2 different parcels unless it's already parceled out. So if it's not already parceled out, you have to just wholesale the whole acre to an end buyer who's going to come in with their own vision. And it could be that, and you want to sell them on the different strategies of what they can do on the property. So most importantly, you just tell them, hey, this is an acre of land, but you're able to parse it out into 2, and your comp's going to be the new construction like comps in your area based on what you're building. So the value of each parcel will be based on what you are building on the parcel. So if I'm building a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house, and there's a new construction comp within 2 to 3 miles or within a mile, then that's my comp. So you won't be able to comp it from a rehab. You have to comp it from new construction in your area. So you pull up the new construction in your area, determine how much of those properties are going for, and that's going to be your comp for both of those parcels. However, if that parcel is not subdivided already, you can sell them on the vision, but you know, unless you are going to put money into subdividing it and selling both parcels separately. If not, then you pretty much selling the acre land and having them to just do whatever they want to do with it.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck in Knoxville.
Appreciate it. Good luck to y'all.
Yeah.
Did I answer your questions?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's just we got to step our marketing up and sell that vision, like you said, whenever we're marketing the property.
Yeah, if you sell the vision, then you can double up on the money probably. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye, guys. All right, next up we have Miss Deandra. Miss Deandra Johnson, are you there? Deandra.
We don't talk to blank screens.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just go ahead. Sorry, Deandra.
Okay, yeah, make that.
Okay. So let's go back to our questions. So we have.
Wait a minute. If you want to join us and ask your question on video here live, then go to comps101.com, press the tap the join us now live button, and you'll get in the waiting room here, and Adria add you on, get your question answered here. Ain't working good deal last week.
Okay, so Al McGriff says, I will be marketing in the DMV. Do you think I will need to put up higher earnest amounts due to the price of these homes, or could I still use the same low amounts on lower cost homes?
That's a good question, and I'll start it off. I mean, earnest money is not based on the area, it's based on the seller. It's based on the person. So it's not necessarily, technically the higher in the house, the more earnest money. That's just logic. Because a person who's selling you a $600,000-$700,000 home is not going to be okay with $10. They want to know that you're going to put a little bit more skin in the game. So it's really just, in my opinion, is based on the person, but also based on, somewhat based on the house too. But never start high. The first person who say numbers will always lose. So start at that. If it's a higher end property, you start at the $10 if you want to, or whatever the case may be. But, depending on the competition, earnest money make or break you. Earnest money can make or break your contract depending on the competition. So it's basically what I'm saying is, if my property gets 5 offers on it and you send me a $10 offer, and I have somebody with a $10 earnest money offer, and I have someone else with $1,000 earnest money offer, I'm most likely going to go with the $1,000, because to me, that tells me that this person is a little bit more serious than someone putting up 10. So you have to evaluate the whole situation from the seller, the area, the house you're dealing with, and really make just a informed decision on how you want to approach that earnest money.
Yeah, like you said, you really just got to feel the seller out. I know sometimes people will take what I'm saying literal. And it is literal in a lot of cases with the $10 and really even zero in a lot of cases. I don't want to say that. I don't even believe the $10 or whatever, but you have to feel that person out. You have to know just who you're talking to or whatever. I've had people like send me a picture of a contract, and it's on a $400,000 property with $10 earnest money. It's possible, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do that. I would send a contract on $400,000. I'm just assuming it's a deal, but regardless, $400,000 house, I'm just going to automatically put 500 minimum. Right. No, and I probably might do $1,000, but I have the money to put up with it, fortunate enough to do it. So you may not have that or whatever, but if you don't or whatever, at least do 100. Don't do 10. At least do 100. Let's get into 3 digits, please. You know what I'm saying? So. But ideally, when you start dealing with the higher stuff, again, it still just depends on who you're dealing with. You just, again, it's sort of hard to explain. Like it's just because some people won't accept $10 on a $15,000 house.
Maybe 1 time.
you just have to know who you're dealing with, or what most will, some won't in this situation. Most will, some won't. You just understand that. Whereas the flip on others, most won't. Most won't enough will, but in this situation, most will, some won't.
All right, guys. So JS says, hey guys, I'm not sure if you guys are too into seller financing, but if I wanted to move into a seller finance, the house is paid off, but can't afford the closing costs, how should I close? So he has a home that is paid off completely. He's going to move into it, and he wants to move into it as a seller finance opportunity. So creative financing, but he can't afford the closing costs. What do we do?
So they agreed to some terms. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, if he was asking the question on video, we could.
You know what?
We could focus a little more. See, we still need to know what terms did you set up.
Right.
Okay.
House is paid off, and you can't afford the closing costs. What are your closing costs?
That's what I'm saying. We got enough information. We need to know. See, because you can renegotiate your terms. You make it build your terms into the monthly payment.
You're right.
I'm assuming that if you you got the down payment, but you don't have the closing cost, or is there no down payment?
With closing costs, I mean, most owner finance are not really going to the closing table. It's like a lot of just paperwork.
Okay, so
because the deed is not transferred over until you make that last payment. And when seller financing, the deed is not transferred over to your name. So I'm just kind of what closing costs are you?
Well, if you actually do, I think that's called a land contract. What you explained, but if you actually set it up where they're doing terms and they're holding the note, then the deed would go into, because they would be acting like the lender. Ideally, you want to close on that. You do want to involve attorney to make sure that the note and everything is set up properly. So that may incur because you still gonna probably want to do a title search or whatever. That's a fee. And then if you did involve attorney, you got to get paid. And if you did get in title insurance, you know what I'm saying? That's because he said the house doesn't have a balance on it. If the seller did terms on it, I guess my question is, are they requiring a down payment? Because then if they're not requiring a down payment, they'll probably take care of the closing costs too.
Right. But one of the ways to take care of your closing costs, if you don't have it, just swipe your credit card.
Assume you
finance it on your credit card.
Assume you got
it. Pay it over time.
Hey, but like I say, you can just add it. Just if the monthly payment is $800, just tell them to add another $100 to it. Until you pay off the closing costs and let them cover it. It's all negotiable.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically what we're trying to say.
All right. So DeAndre Johnson says, hello, I've learned so much from your videos since last year. How would I go about finding a vacant lot, owners, and flipping? Also, what about wholesaling commercial property? But even though I just read her question, we're going to let her ask it herself. Let's see here. Where is Deandra? There she is. Hey, Deandra.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey.
My apologies about that.
No,
this is my daughter in the background. She's where you at, Mahalia? What's up?
Hi.
I love the mother and daughter team. I love the mother and daughter.
I'm telling you, it's going down.
Yes, I have one too. I got my mom in real estate, so I love it.
That's what's up.
So, what's your question and where are you calling from?
Denver, Colorado. I know, right?
What's up?
Yep, Denver, Colorado. So, I've been watching you, Flip, man. I'm so thankful for you. You've given me so much advice. I can't even, express how much knowledge I've gained from you. But I'm leaning more towards commercial properties and land because the competition is not there. I have less competition in those areas of real estate. Not many people know much about how to, wholesale land or wholesale commercial property. So I was just wanting to Benja here and see what you think about that.
What you said about commercial?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what form of commercial you want to target. That's what it's going to all boil down to. You got multifamily, self-storage, hotels, motels, retail office, medical office.
It would be more along the lines of like retail, hotel, more of like an industrial type of thing.
So are you looking to
not too
wholesale or
much
buy?
multi. I'm sorry, Nikki. What was that?
Are you speaking about wholesaling commercial or buying, purchasing, and holding?
Wholesaling commercial properties. Because I'm in Denver, Colorado, so it's grown so much. Like, I mean, there's probably 100,000 people moving to Denver every month. I mean, maybe give or take a few numbers, but I mean, it's growing. So there's so much vacant commercial property that I could possibly invest in or wholesale it to a developer. So I just don't know how I would go about doing that. Like, I know how to go to the assessors, websites and see who the owner is. Would I do the same thing for commercial properties? I guess I would, huh?
Oh yeah, tax bill has to go somewhere. Well, what you have to understand, you have to think in the terms of an investor. I know we'll see a vacant commercial property, and in your mind, you're like, "Wow, that's great." Wow, but where is it? Where is it located? What's next door to it? That tells you a lot, right? If there's nothing else next to it, it may turn into something one day, but the number of investors is going to be interested in something like that is going to be very low. That's the first thing for me anyway. I'm not an expert. I have dipped my toe in it a little bit enough to know and made a little money or whatever. But the first thing you want to look at, what's on the left, what's on the right, what's across the street, not down the street 4 or 5 blocks, because they can change really quickly, right? What's on the left, what's on the right, what's directly across the street. That's the first thing. If there's nothing there, you're gonna have to have resources to do something with something like that. Then you're taking a huge risk. But he's talking about wholesaling. You're finding things similar to a house in the sense that you have to make it, the value has to be created there, right? But if already retail activity going on there, if you got a Starbucks on one side and a Walgreens directly across the street, and I'll just throw whatever McDonald's on the other side of a building, okay, that's obvious. Okay, yeah, you look into that or whatever, but that doesn't still mean an opportunity. Because in a lot of cases, they're just gonna want too much or whatever. And a lot of commercial owners, they have a lot of patience, right? You have to. A lot of times you can't get the price that you want, but the market will change so fast, or let me say fast for commercial real estate, that they'll just sit on it. And plus, a lot of times they own so much other stuff, it's just a tax write-off because they're paying taxes. Not it's costing them money just with their other prices. There's so many. You got to just educate yourself. But it's a lot of stuff out there. It's not just a one source thing like with the houses or whatever. It's just a lot of just educating yourself about what makes a great commercial deal depending on the type of property, and then you just have to backdoor it from there, hoping you find an owner that's motivated. Because commercial real estate owners, they still get divorced, they still die, right? They still make bad decisions, even though they may have owned it, and then it gets into their kids' hands. Just all that stuff just trickle down. Just think about it. Like a lot of people with like this coronavirus COVID stuff, some commercial brokers were so dependent on their tenants to keep the rest of their business alive, but now some of their tenants are not paying rent. And it's just a trickle-down effect that may collapse their entire empire. Not wishing that on anybody. I'm just telling you that's how stuff happens. So opportunities will present themselves or whatever. But again, it's just going to start with just educating yourself on as many. You might want to be a little more focused, a little more niche. But focus on the type of properties you want to target and just understand that entire process. And then your eyes should open to opportunities as you research and look for them.
All right. Sounds good. I'll definitely do that. And I'll be in touch. I appreciate your input.
I'll add to that. No, I just said I'll add to that. I think, you know, because I think there's a lot of people that's interested in getting into commercial wholesaling, and there's a lot more moving parts. You know, I was fortunate enough to wholesale a couple apartment complex. My first one being a 98 unit in Riverdale, Georgia, and honestly, I'll tell you just a gem from commercial. When you're dealing with commercial properties, first and foremost, you're dealing with very sophisticated investors. You're dealing with a sophisticated buyer. You're dealing with a sophisticated seller. So you're dealing with people that know the game. They know the game is nothing. So they really want to deal with value-added people. So you want to be very knowledgeable when you're dealing with the seller or the buyer are trying to bridge that deal together. But I'll tell you how I was successful in doing my first 98 unit. I did, it was really reverse commercial wholesale. So I was already dealing with a client who was buying 5 to 10 wholesale properties from me, was buying 20 a month, was buying 5 to 10 from me. And I just presented it to him. I was like, hey, I got this 98 unit. What do you think? So to me, it was reverse wholesaling. So I had a client who was buying a lot of properties, and I introduced a commercial property to him, and he liked it and he bought it. So I would say focus on finding commercial buyers and ask them, say, hey, I got a database of commercial properties. What are you looking for? I can go out there and find some properties for you and be your ears and your boots on the ground. And that's value add to a commercial investor. Someone, they don't have time to be boots on the ground. They don't have time to be out there. So, you know, that's just one way to approach it versus finding a vacant property and now you're scrambling trying to find commercial buyers, because they are not readily out there. You know, you got to know someone to find a lot of these commercial buyers. They're not as readily available as residential buyers are, you know. So, so that's just a gem that you can take as you continue your journey.
Yeah, just to expound on that, she's exactly right on that, because I had a guy to reach out to me, and he just all because of this, I guess, Flipman stuff or whatever. And he and I are putting a deal together right now. Matter of fact, we got an offer accepted on a commercial property, and she's right, because he has the money. He's exiting from another business, and he wants to get into commercial for the cash flow. And he reached out to me, which I'm glad, whatever, to help him find some deals. And I knew exactly what to do from there. If I know the money is there, or I'm going to just make some stupid offers or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I know how to play to brokers' greed or whatever. So number one, I'm not involved in a broker. Like one of them said, man, I never had nobody just to email me directly. Normally they go to another broker or whatever. I need them for. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, and plus, I added a couple of percent, to let him know, hey, we're willing to pay you 2% to 2.5% on the deal. So that's going to automatically get their attention, right?
Yep.
So they already going to get money from their client or whatever, and so I'm just throwing out like, well, you may. Throwing out an offer. This may not make sense to you, but a lot of people. But when you're evaluating a lot of commercial properties based on capitalization rate, and they may be selling it at an 8%, which may be $1 million or $2 million, but I'm going to make an offer at 12%. Now I'm not expecting them to accept that or whatever, but one of them did. We made an offer at 13%, and they accepted it at 12.7%, which is only a couple down or whatever. So right. That's the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I ain't even had to say proof of fund, even though we got it. Proof of fund, just because I know the broker went back to him and said, I think this is the best we can do or whatever. Right. They countered a little bit, but it wasn't much or whatever. So like you said, the buyer, you find the buyers what they're looking for, and boom. And Adria, you can go to the next question before you kill me over here.
Right.
All right, thank you guys. I didn't mean to keep you so long, but you've been a very great help. And you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
All righty.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to go to Hannah. Hannah's been waiting patiently. Actually, I think that's just the name on the screen. Come on, where you at? Oh, I let him walk away. He's been sitting there so patient. So very patient. And I told him he was up next. There he is. Hey.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for
How
being
you
so
doing?
patient and waiting. So where are you calling from and what's your name?
I'm calling from it's a city right outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. It's Levittown.
Okay, that's what's up.
So my question is when wholesale on a pre-foreclosure and say they have an auction date, do you have until the day before to buy that property or how does that work? Do you get what I'm saying?
That's pushing it.
That's pushing it. That's pushing it. You want to catch them about a week before.
That's usually like
you want to
before?
catch them. Yeah. No, I mean, don't get to a week. If you just happen to be a week before, try it. But you really want to catch them before it really get on that list for that month. But yeah, a day before you won't be able to catch them.
Yeah,
They won't be able to
That's
stop
what
the
I was
process.
wondering.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, like, just in case I did have to push it.
well,
You can push it.
I
Try.
had a deal back in December. I think that was whenever it was. We put it got close, but it was only because the attorney wouldn't respond. The attorney for the lender wouldn't. They were dragging their feet. I had the seller to keep calling. I would call or whatever, and they wouldn't talk to me. I don't know. I was called, but anyway, they finally responded. I think, how did we get that? Oh, I know what we did. We got the title, the closing attorney to send them an email or however they probably already had a relationship with them, and that's how it got pushed along or whatever. But they were tripping, man. They wouldn't even respond to the seller, which they're supposed to be responsive to that or whatever. So, but anyway, a day before, that's tough.
Okay.
I said it's impossible, but it's tough.
Okay, we're good. I think we got a little bit of lag.
Do you mind if I ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm actually going to see a duplex tomorrow. It's a guy who owns a house free and clear. He's asking for $345,000. So the goal is to get seller financing. So I'm wondering if I can get 0% interest. Like, let's say he wants interest. I'm saying. So say I go up to $400,000, even though it's $65,000 over the asking price. But if there's 0% interest, will that still make sense?
Very much so.
That's what I was wondering because I didn't know if there was any like down effects of that.
Well, let me back up. It depends on what the interest rate would have been. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Depends. If it was at 1%, then I think you might have come out better with the 1% or whatever. But depending on what the interest rate would be if you didn't do just a total amount versus interest being compounded over X number of years or whatever. So, and then
what would be your reason to go over the asking that much?
I was just like, if when I go there tomorrow, if he says, well, if I'm gonna give you terms on this, you're gonna have to pay me like interest on it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, what if we just get rid of the interest and I just give you, I was gonna obviously start with like, $20,000 or something, but I was just wondering if like to keep bumping that up if he's not willing to do it with interest rate.
Well,
just have no interest.
Yeah, just have your numbers ready to go in your mind or whatever. I couldn't imagine them probably wanting to do it for less than 5% or whatever. But then he may want to do interest only over 3 to 5 years, just with a balloon. So you never know. Just do more listening than talking.
Yeah, feel him through. Yeah.
And then you don't have to make the decision right there on the spot. You may want to run your numbers and counter it with the offer that you're talking about. Once you go do the numbers, maybe the interest may be better depending on how the terms and what rate he's giving you over what period of time. And then where it's going to be amortized over 30 years and only, 5, it just depends, man. There's so many directions you can go with on that. So
I appreciate that.
I think one of the keys is, when you're doing seller financing, the money on the back end is great, but more money you give him up front is better. So, if you can do 30,000 up front or whatever. So focus on the upfront money. Somewhat if you want to do seller financing, because that's just intriguing that they can get a, $20,000, $30,000 lump sum payment right here at the closing table. And then the rest of it would be trickled over the next 5 years or so. So, but the first person to talk numbers always lose. So listen to him first.
All right. Did that answer your question for you, my guy?
With
Yep, that answered my question.
and
I appreciate that.
go back with the.
Oh, you're good, Renikia. It just froze up a little bit there. But I think you got the gist of it. And you're good to go for your meeting tomorrow. And good luck with that. Absolutely, good luck with that. I hope that works out well for you. Okay.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you. Have a good night. Rennie? Is she stuck on your side? Guys, we're just gonna go. I'm gonna take one more live call and then jump back into questions a bit. So let's see here. Mr. Romanos. Remind us. I messed that all up, didn't I?
Yeah, you messed it all up. It's all good.
My bad.
It's all
What's
good.
your name and where you calling from?
The pronunciation is Romanus. I'm actually currently in Huntsville, Alabama, but I live in Jacksonville.
Okay.
I've been following Flipman for a while. We have the same barber, so I figured I'll listen to him.
Oh, you go to Marvin?
No, we have the same.
I
want to hear right quick. No worries. So my question, now with the economy going the way it is, and you have a lot of unemployment coming up, for somebody who's just getting in the game and is trying to figure out the best way to gather a list, if you were in a position like this, what list would you recommend somebody to go looking for, seeing that unemployment is going high and obviously some people are going to lose their homes and things like that? Is that somewhere that you think that you would recommend somebody to start looking, coming in, or is it just the old going, driving and finding houses that are in that situation or in the dilapidated situation?
Well, at this point, I still don't think we've been impacted on the real estate end. It's coming, I think. I'm not a fortune teller. I've been in a different business if I was, but because of the stimulus thing that did, and they're talking about doing another one, plus the extra $600 people are getting on top of the unemployment. A lot of times, for a lot of situations, they making more money than they were making when they were actually working whatever job they were working. So at this point, it really hasn't affected it in that sense, as far as I can tell, and people that I deal with around the country. So, but as far as what type of list that you would target now, my list, there's so many different ways to go with it. I use, I'm talking about regulated prop stream. I'm going to go non-owner occupied, meaning it's absentee. They own it, but they don't live there. Free and clear. It's going to be off market, residential, single family. I want to deal with individuals, and I want them to have owned it for at least a year, depending on the market. If it's a high population area, a county, or whatever, then you may want to go up to 5 or maybe even 10 years to get a smaller list or whatever. So then you start really playing with it when you got large numbers like that. You can start dealing with square footage and out of town owners, out of county owners, and all that or whatever. So it just depends on what city are you in. I'll give you an idea.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, that's going to be a decent size, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than Birmingham. So, yeah, you're going to probably be able to go up to 5 years as far as ownership if you're using the software. And that's what I would roll with. If you want to go back and replay what I just said, it's about 52 minutes in.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Now, one question I did have that just came up when you were talking to the gentleman before. You guys use a lot of jargon. Is there something that you provide that kind of like help the jargon that people don't understand? In the event that you want to train somebody on some of the stuff that you teach as well? Because I heard seller financing. That was the first time I ever heard that in this industry. Y'all said a couple other things that kind of flew over my head, but for the sake of time, is there something that you provide that kind of like goes over that type of language for somebody who's just new to the industry?
And I've been saying I was going to do a video like that. But
you did.
Ada keep.
I'm looking at them side eyes over here.
But anyway, I want to finance, and I actually have a video on there. There's tons of videos out there on that beyond what I got to teach. But I have one that I did within the last 3 or 4 months to try to break that down and explain it. But for the most part, if you hear a term If you go to YouTube and just do a search for it, even you can just put Flipman and ARB if you hear that, then I'm gonna have videos on it. And I try to, I don't think I'm always successful, but I try to explain it to you if we were just sitting in a barbershop or something, you know, that you've never heard it. And you never heard it if you never heard it before or whatever. So for the most part, most of these terms are defined over and over again in so many ways. You know, remember, Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend, sometimes I'm your friend or whatever. So again, I've been saying I was gonna do a video. I guess I'll get to it. I'm getting to it.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that, though. Now that Miss Renicky is back, do I have another question? Or am I limited to questions?
I'll roll with it, man.
All right. So I know that you have a company that does there's like financing or something to that effect. Can you specifically explain how somebody can, after filling out the application, what is typically the turnaround time if the deal is right per se?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're speaking on acquisition, rehab funding.
Correct.
You know, buying homes and things of that nature. So this is how it works. So if you're looking to get into fix and flipping, you want to take it to your wholesale game to the next level. The key is that, you know, as a direct lender, we're an asset-based lender. So it's all based. So the approval is based in the asset. It's based on the equity in the home. So as long as there's equity in the home, you're approved. So an asset-based lender is more so non-financial based when it comes to residential. So you don't need tax returns, bank statements, income verification, nor pay stubs. The focus is the equity in the property. So the turnaround time, I would say this: it takes about 7 to 10 days to get an appraisal. And then it takes another 7 days or so for underwriting. So, you know, we can expedite the appraisal and things of that nature and get it down about 15 days. But I would always say a minimum 21 days because it takes time for borrowers to get their paperwork in and things of that nature. So I would say the turnaround time about 15 to 21 days.
All right. I had another question, but I don't want to take anybody's time. But does that change my term on my contract? Would you recommend adding that 21 days to my grace period that I have on my contract with the seller?
Yeah, so it's two different scenarios. So when you're doing a wholesale deal, you know, most likely they want you to close in 7 days, as quick as possible. But when you are doing your own fix and flip, it's very important for you not to approach it like a wholesale deal.
Okay,
it's very important for you to approach it like a real buyer and let them know that you need your due diligence period, you need time to close it, and things of that nature. So, but the thing about it is you can close fairly quickly, but I want to approach it like a wholesale deal. You know, and also don't be afraid to let the buyer or the seller know that you are getting financing. So now you already put it in their mind that it may take a little bit longer than expected and things of that nature. So if you need another 3 to 4 days, they already understand that you're going through that process.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Tell the barber not to take so much off the top next time, Romanus.
My bad.
No.
Have a good one. All right, Sequoia and Dominique, I see you guys. You are up next. But Renikia, I'm so glad he did ask about that. And you explained it very well what your company is able to do. But for those that want to know how to get in contact with you, we did not. So how can they get in contact with you or a member of your staff if they're ready to go to the next level?
You just want to go to fundmynextdeal.com. As you know, we specialize in just creative financing, but most importantly, a direct lender for residential and commercial properties nationwide. We do lend in all 50 states, so you don't have to ask. And we're here to help you understand how to turn your wholesale game into fix and flipping, buying and holding, and things of that nature. Because a lot of us don't understand it's not that hard to do a fix and flip. It's not that hard. It's just your ability to understand how the money works, your ability to understand how, you know, just the day-to-day operation of operating your flip works as well. So, but if you are interested in leveraging your credit, you're interested in any of our residential commercial loan products, just go to fundmynextdeal.com. If you have any questions, you can always email me directly at funding@fkfinancials.com, or you could reach me via Facebook or Instagram.
All right, guys, it is on your screen there. Whenever you come back and watch the video, we are 58 minutes and 55 seconds in and fund my next deal. Isaiah Navarez wants to know, when the cash buyer submits an earnest money deposit, do you deduct their deposit from their purchase price? Yes.
At the closing. At the closing table. At the closing table. So at the closing table, that earnest money is a part of the money they given towards the purchase price. So at the closing table, it will be deducted from the from the month due. Yeah.
Is he talking about filling out the contract though, that you deduct from the price?
Well, then too.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. I'm assuming that's what he means too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so code 113258 says, "Hey Ty, you've made videos on how to skip trace and videos on PropStream, aka Zillulator.com. Okay, but can you make a video on Mojo Dialer specifically on how to upload and call the list?"
I think I've done it.
I think you have.
I think I've done that. I'm trying to think which video I have that on though. I have a video that's it may not be titled that, but I show you how to use it. I'll figure it out which one I did that on or whatever. So
code 113, we'll come back with that information and hopefully we can answer that question.
But there are tons of videos on Mojo Dollar on YouTube.
They want you to do it.
Oh.
Okay, so Sequoia, you're
we
up.
Need that barbershop
I
talk.
love the way they face. You see when I say their name, how they look. She like, hey, it's me. There you go. Hey.
Hi guys.
Hi, where are you calling from and what's your question?
I am calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
So my question is semi-long. Okay, so I watched all your videos and I have used all the tools. I just started like 2 days ago. So PropStream, Skip Vault, Batch Leads.
Wait a minute,
So I'm testing
the videos in 2 days?
Well, no. I watched the videos over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I started texting people this week. So I started off with a list of from Charlotte and one county surrounding Charlotte. It's about 1,000 people, free and clear, whatever. Long story short, I've texted like there was 1,000 people. I texted like 800 so far using Batch Leads. Yeah.
Wow.
But majority of people are saying, for one, they think I'm somebody else that they already told to stop texting them. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of wholesalers doing the same thing. And a lot of them are just pretty much saying like, I've gotten stuff like you and everybody else wants it. And they're saying like these high numbers. So my question for you is like, do you think there's ever a time when the market is like too oversaturated in an area? Like, I'm not opposed to skip trace. Like, I'm fine with that, but I'm just getting they're just like, yeah, you and everybody else, how much, 500K for stuff that's like not worth, like they know what I'm trying to do, basically.
Well, yeah, a couple questions there. What's your initial text that you're sending?
So, you have to do like the 10, like
negative words.
But yeah, so it's like, hey, I mean, I can't remember exactly, but like,
you're like, hey, did you get my call from yesterday, or did you get my letter, or the sticky note I left on your door? Because you're trying to get their initial attention first.
Yeah, and like, so they're responding, but they're responding basically like they know what I'm trying to do, and they're not interested. Type of thing.
All right, what type of area are you targeting? What type of neighborhood? A, B, C, D, what?
I just pretty much did the whole county free and clear.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good mix.
Yeah. So I'm like, is it a situation where like I should just try another county, or like is that like what's the if I have 1,000 numbers, like what's the average that you think would actually turn into a deal?
Normally you're going to get crazy responses. That's normal or whatever. I would be a little bit more focused than just the entire county or whatever. Okay. I would personally, just from my experience and others I've helped or whatever, I would start out, so you can make some money. I would start out in the D and C areas, right? Okay. And for whatever reason, you just get better responses from my experience. Absolutely. Whatever. And so from there, because if people are living there, somebody's investing there, right? It's just that simple. Especially in a highly populated area or whatever. Start out in those areas, rehome. I'm sure are you from Charlotte?
No, but I've been here for like 15 years.
So the D areas, the C areas or whatever. So create a list just specifically for those, right?
Okay.
And then start your camera. Because a lot of people that are in the business, because some of those will be quote unquote what they call war zones, whatever that means. But you know what I'm saying. A lot of the people that get in the game, they avoid those, right? I made a lot of money in those areas. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm over there just literally every day when I'm out riding. I don't ride every day, but when I have to go look at stuff or whatever, a lot of times I'm in them areas. So that's one of the areas we place bandit signs and where I place my signs, house, cheap house for sale, blah, blah, blah. Because it's normally one of the ways I can market to find buyers that buy in those areas or whatever. But a lot of investors avoid those areas or whatever, especially new investors, because some of them not comfortable going in those areas or whatever. I ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would recommend that you do. Because a lot of people avoid those areas when they start out because they are biased to avoid those areas. I'm gonna tell you the opposite of it, But if there's people living there are people investing there.
Right.
So those are the opportunities because a lot of times people want to target the higher end areas, the B+ areas or whatever. So you might want to go in a different direction. So those are the ones that get a lot of those text messages that you're talking about. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to get some of the same responses, don't get me wrong, but I'll be shocked if you don't get better reception on some of those.
Okay, so you don't think it ever gets too saturated?
Well, the Texas thing is hot right now with me promoting it and Max Maxwell and everybody else and their mama or whatever. So, so I don't know if it's saturated. Direct mail been around a long time. People get that. You just gonna catch them right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Hey, again, I had to use this COVID-19 6 months ago. Well, not even that long ago. We ain't that far in. 4 months ago. Hey, I had the world at my feet. I ain't working. Hey, I hadn't worked in 3+ months, and they hadn't gotten to my unemployment yet. You know what I'm saying? And there's still people out there like that or whatever. I'm not wishing that on something. Just telling you this real or whatever. So you may be their God saying, and they may have thought they didn't even think nobody wanted that property that they had because it needed too many repairs. That's just the way their mind thing, where it may be because it does need repair. Yeah, it needs work, but it still has some value, especially for you as a wholesaler or someone as an investor or whatever. So it's just about time and just keep doing what you're doing. But again, I would recommend focusing on those areas specifically. And I think your response rate, but your lead quality rate would change.
Okay. And I'm gonna add to that. Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Todd just said. And I just want to add to just to help you understand your response rate. So at the end of the day, think about it like this: 1 to 10% is going to be good leads. So I know as women, we don't like to be said no to, and it makes us discourage us a little bit.
I didn't know
so
that.
I just want absolutely. So we don't put ourselves out like that, and we don't get no. So I just want you to understand. Take the emotions out of it. Take the emotions out of it. Become numb to the no, and focus only on the yes. Because you send out 800, is about 8 or 10 of them really want to sell. So you may get 100 no's, but all you're looking for that 8 to 10. So become numb to the no, take your emotions out of it, and focus on the numbers. Just focus on the numbers.
As a matter of fact, just to follow up what Bernicia is saying, not about the women saying no stuff. The lady that helps me with my text messaging, she just recently followed up on a lot of stuff we did, and we probably, just like 10 of them that were just totally not deals. Now they're ready to talk. You know what I'm saying? And it's been probably just a month ago when we initially hit them up or whatever. So if they don't if people are not familiar with the platform, if they don't go into your do not call bucket and just your follow-up bucket, a warm lead bucket or whatever, you want to do a what do they call it? When you do a campaign, it's basically like, it's called a follow-up campaign. When you want to do a follow-up campaign, it'll automatically create that follow-up campaign for you. So now you hit them a month later. Hey, my husband left me with these 3 kids. My wife left with the food guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, she got a rental, probably daddy left. I'm finna sell it.
Absolutely.
I'll take my emotions out of it. I was just like, oh my God, they're all like, yeah, 500K. And I'm like, that's not what I was expecting to hear back.
Exactly. Keep it moving. That ain't the one.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
You have a good night. Good luck on your journey.
Toyota Sequoia.
Bye. All right. So Sequoia was just mentioning about the people basically giving her ridiculous numbers in the text messages. But Marvin Abney wants to know, so how do you deal with people that act very nasty with you when you're cold calling? So luckily she has that buffer. I don't see you. You don't see me. I can't hear you. You can't hear me. I'm just going to cuss you out of my head. I just ain't going to. But we're on the phone. So now what do we have them on the phone? Do we just hang up? Or we kill them with kindness?
Stay positive. Stay positive, because a month later they may be ready, but if you cuss them out, they're gonna remember that. They're gonna remember that you said something nasty back to them. Stay positive. No one has to sell you anything. It's their house, So so just stay positive. You may determine, you know what, that person's energy is just off. I don't want to deal with it. I never call them back. Or you may take your emotions out of it. It is what it is. Call them back a month later. So I just say, regardless of how nasty they are, just stay positive.
All right. Dominique Young, you've been patiently waiting. Yes, you are the winner. You are next up.
Hey, before we start this,
what's that?
And I'm about bartering services, right? Part of the way I create content is from this or whatever. And if someone is interested, that you sort of have to understand real estate just a little bit. And the stuff that you think that I've said or Renika said, or even someone that's come on, that it's important, and you can figure out how to time stamp it within up to 60 seconds. We'll just say, we'll say up to 52 seconds. Well, if you can do that and edit it, you're really not doing an editing. The only thing you're doing is like start time, end time, the video link, and that's it. That's the only thing I need. Or whatever. If you're interested in that, I'm willing to barter some services for you. I do it myself, but it's too time consuming, but it needs to be done. So if you're interested in that, just hit me up or whatever.
Always opportunities with the flip man.
I agree. I like that.
Hey, Dominique, what, you good?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, you got it, man. What's up? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Louis.
St. Louis, STA. I've been
St. Louis. St. Louis.
Hey, STA.
Hey, I got I have three questions. Is that okay?
Man, just ask. You good?
All right. This first one, my cousin had asked me this last night, and I knew I would ask you because I don't know. Is it possible, like as a wholesaler, to get with like an agent who has somebody who's trying to put a mortgage out on the house? And like, is it possible? Like, I know you can work with agents as far as getting an actual buyer, but when you got an agent who got a family that's trying to get a mortgage on the house, is it possible to still like wholesale it that way?
Yeah, you're I guess technically it is, but you're getting into a gray area there because you got lenders involved.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. Renika may have a different answer because you're gonna have to do some things that, because the lender's gonna control so much of the closing process. That's what the issue is. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna approve the HUD, like trying to double close. Like, who is this person? They ain't on the deed.
Right.
So I'm gonna say no. You got the right type of attorney. They make it finagling to get you paid. I've heard people say they can get paid through a marketing fee or so on, or some type of mechanics lien attached. That's all gray area stuff. I really wouldn't advise or whatever. But again, Renika may have she's smarter than me, so roll with it, baby.
No, I mean, when you're dealing with a lender, you just got to double close it. But however, lenders are getting smart because, like Todd said, I mean, your name is not on the deed. So when they get a purchase contract from someone that's not on the deed, I mean, they got to look into it because now you either selling the property that's not yours, Or, you know, you got a wholesale in the middle. So then some lenders are getting smart where they want to see your wholesale contract. They want to see that contract. And some lenders are saying, you know what, I'm not funding the wholesale contract. The end buyer must fund it. So it's like I said, there's a lot of gray areas. It can be done. I would recommend to never do an assignment contract. When you're dealing with the lender, always double close it, try to hide it. But there's a possibility that they won't pay it. You know, and that money has to come from the buyer or the seller if they want that, if they want it. So.
Okay, all right. And the second one, like when you have to go back and actually renegotiate a price with the seller, like do you just add new language to the current agreement, or you just rip up the old one and make a new one?
Either or.
Yeah, either or you can create an amendment. I done did it plenty of times and not create an amendment. We just scratch it out, initial it, everybody date it, and we good to go.
Yeah, just like I was talking about the commercial property I made an offer, I sent an LOI on. They didn't go with the price out. They scratched it out, put their price on it, initial it. Talked to my guy with the money. He said, yeah, let's roll with it. They said, we need to initial it. All I did is initial, send it back to him or whatever. So it's that simple. That's the only part of it you would have to really change is just the price. Unless the dates change as far as closing and all that stuff, inspection period, but other than that, if it's just the price, then you still got time on it. So
and then sometimes they may say, you know what, let's just, you know, we got the finance number, let's just do a clean contract. You know, so it's not good.
So basically, like an amendment is basically just scratching it out and putting your like initial on it, something like that.
Yeah, you can amend a contract like that. Just doing a one line through it. I would recommend using blue ink. Doing a one line through it and just initial it. I mean, you know, correct whatever it is you want to correct, and then initial it, and also have every party to initial that correction. So then you won't have any problems. People get amnesia about stuff that closing table.
All right. And the last one, I know with this with the COVID and everything like that going on, like, is it still 70% of the ARV, or do it like still depend on the actual market, or what?
It really depends on the market, but normally I would just, right now is an average of about 65%.
Okay.
Of ARV right now. Yeah. Okay. And it's just because, I mean, we don't know if the bottom is going to drop. So it's hard to over leverage on, you know, lending more money on these properties when 3 months from now, the whole real estate bottom could drop. So we're at 65% of ARV right now.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's it for me. I appreciate y'all though. You know?
All right. Well, thank you. Good luck in your day.
All right. Peace out.
We appreciate you.
All right.
All right, guys. Good talk. So I'm still loving the on-screen asking question, the thingy thing. Yes. So William Campbell, easy question. I can answer. What's the difference between Deal You Later and regular prop stream? Nothing. One is backed and promoted tied, but ultimately it's the same service. Affiliate.
GMC makes Cadillac. Deal You Later is Cadillac. Prop stream is GMC.
Well, I need the GMC.
Toyota makes Lexus. Deal You Later is Lexus. Prop stream is Toyota. They're the backbone. You know what I'm saying?
We were still riding.
Honda makes Acura.
Nah, stop.
I keep going. You know what I'm saying? Nissan makes Infinity.
Oh, here we go. We got it. All right.
Tesla is Tesla.
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody makes Tesla.
It ain't nothing else about it. Okay. Wait a minute. You know what, Tanker? I ain't even gonna say in regards to
we go.
No, he said because we can't have.
Who said that?
Tanker.
What he said?
Oh, he said y'all can't.
What he said? We can't handle rejection.
We have to
We
take
don't like rejections. Don't get it twisted. You know, we don't like to be rejected at all.
because
We're not putting ourselves out there like that.
Yeah, if you want to ask your question on video, comps101.com. Press the red button that says "Join us live now."
yes, you have very limited time. Very limited. Put it out there like we're gonna be here all night, man. Chill out. Okay. So let's go to another question. So Maurice, I just want to say, he says, Flipman, I appreciate your support from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's flipped some houses with your guidance. Love to hear the positivity flowing through. Love to hear that anything that Flip has put out and Renikia has put out has helped you put a few coins in your pocket and opening the gateway for you to begin building generational wealth. Like there's an end game to this. It's bigger than just a couple of grand. Like that's, you know, life changing for some individuals. It would be for me. So, you know, but it's bigger than that. Like if you put consistently educating yourself in this process, you can change your whole lifestyle. And that's like no, this ain't the flower. This ain't the, you saw something coming in, you know, every 3 weeks or whatever. No. This is something that's going to require you to educate yourself regularly. You're going to have to put in the work. You binge on the videos, you grind it out a little bit, then you sit back and you stack your coins. So love to hear the positivity there. So Danielle Sotelo says, I'm coming across deals, but I cannot find buyers. My properties are in cities in New York. Can you help? So Danielle, that would have been one of those good questions that would be great live, because there's a lot of little tidbit of information.
Yeah, Danielle, if you're okay with it, if you could ask that question coming on, because we'd have to have more. That's too broad. We you know what I'm saying, we need to ask a few more pointed questions back to you to answer your question. Just go to comps101.com and tap the button that says join us live now.
Okay. Isaiah, I see you down there. You're up next, but let me go ahead and ask Sierra Sherry's question. And I think it's interesting because you see it on, I follow a lot of mentoring resources and money financial things on Instagram. And one of the ones that they promote the most is buy a 7-bedroom house, how to live rent free. Buy a 7-bedroom house, live in one room, rent out the other 6, and live rent free. Man, I ain't living with all them folks, man. You tripping. This
all right, that's a lot.
So her question is, I have a property in Georgia and I'm trying to set it up as a rooming house. Do anyone here have a rooming house? And is there a template that I can get for a lease used for this property? So I'm not going to say they don't exist anymore, because I can name a few in my city and it's not really a big city at all. So how would you handle that?
I mean, that's just a short-term lease. I mean, you can use any lease agreement. You can use just it's templates out there, short-term lease agreements, short-term lease templates. You know, it's just a lease agreement. You can use a regular lease agreement. Yeah. The key is it's probably month to month. So or day to day. A lot of rooming boards is like day to day, week to week. So a lot of times it's not even a true lease. It's like rooming, you know, it's like a week to week type thing, but you can create your rooming house however you want to. You can use a short-term lease agreement or just a regular lease agreement.
Yeah, whatever the laws allow for hotels to be able to put you out in one day, it's going to be similar to that. And so that's the type of lease agreement you're going to have in place where you have the ability to go in there and just put a lock on the door with all their stuff in there, and that's it. No going through an eviction process or nothing. It's over with, just like that. Just hope they don't burn your place down. And so, so it's going to be that type of lease. So whatever your state and the laws go in line with as far as with hotels, motels, it's going to be something similar to that's where a guy explained to actually recently. So you can't get into it, like she says, it's a daily lease. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to execute eviction the next day. Whatever the lease is, it has to give you the right to execute an eviction within 24 hours. And that's by stopping them from entering onto the property anymore. So
Right. It's a daily grind. It's
Yeah.
a lot of money
Yeah,
to be made with it.
It takes a special type of individual to manage something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can be very profitable though, if you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. I got a guy that did it here in West End Atlanta, and I mean he's making $6,000-7,000 a month, but he loved it. He's there all the time and things of that nature. So it's something that you really got to manage, but it's very doable. Most people that need a room, they're not looking to lease for a month. They're not looking to lease for long term. So it's more like day to day, week to week type things. So.
Shoot, can it be like half a day, whole day? That you might be on.
Can I get that to her?
I need a couple hours.
Get a room for 12 hours. That's the type of stuff you will get, though. I mean, absolutely. That's what a room is for.
Exactly. Daddy around here. All right.
But Google that. It's templates out there. Google it. I don't have one particular I can send to you, but it's templates out there that has that jargon in there that allows you to, like Ty said, kick them out if they, evict them without going through the eviction process.
Yeah, I googled short-term lease rooms for rent, so it's going to be some out there.
Okay.
Sublets.
Isaiah, how you doing? We talked to you last week. You made it back on again. Look at you, partner.
It's great to be back. Thanks for having me a second time, guys.
How you doing?
So, good. I've been driving for dollars pretty aggressively this past week. I think I found probably maybe close to 30 or 40 properties just within the two cities, within my city and then the neighboring city. But when I went to skip trace them, some of them didn't populate the name or the phone number or email at all. It just has the address and I couldn't get anything else. Does that mean nobody owns it or what?
Are you in PropStream?
Well, I was using another one I had already signed up before I found out about PropStream. So I was about to sign up for PropStream just because
you have one heard. Well, you might not want to give it out over here though. So
oh, no, the good call, Ty. I have your number, so I could always text it to you if you want me to.
Yeah. You might not do that.
But I'm just. Does that mean nobody owns it or something? I mean, I'm sure you guys have come across that before.
The deal is going somewhere.
Huh?
Where is the address? The house address?
The home. Yeah, the home.
So the address is the mailing address. Is the home address the subject property?
I don't know. Well, I just found the property and then I would put in the ad. Well, typically on this other software I had been using before I found out about PropStream, I would just put in the address and then it would populate all of their info, like their name, their number, their email, previous addresses, stuff like that. But some
Did you check the property record?
The property worker?
Did you pull the property records in the county that it's in? Yeah.
No, haven't done that. I should do that. Property records.
Yeah, pull the property records in the county that sits in and see what information you have there, because it has to. I never seen a property record that don't have someone's name. So go there. Maybe you can pull their name or their mailing address from there, and then skip trace the name that you see.
Understood. Okay. Sorry, it was just so strange. I had never come across that before. Hey, so real quick.
Well, one thing to add on that, sometimes the address that is what may be obvious as the mailing address may not be the address that the county has. That happens. No. Not that often, but it does happen. So if you have one of the apps that identify where you are and located, and it highlights the properties, it just, each one of them, that's the best way when you have a situation like that. If you can identify the address next door, across the street, a lot of times you can figure out what the county say that address is or whatever. I wish I could actually show you, but maybe we'll do that next week or something. With the app or whatever. So,
and then I was hearing you guys refer to the 65 to 70% ARV. That's what I would want to purchase the property for, right? Ideally. And then, or is that what my cash buyer would buy it for?
Your cash buyer.
Okay. So
your number, That 70% is the purchase and the rehab.
Purchase and the rehab. Okay. Just
It
because
needs to
I'm
be
thinking
65, 75, 70% of ARV.
okay. Now, would you say the ARV? I mean, I know there's plenty of videos of how to calculate it and stuff, but wouldn't a home like the Zestimate, just hypothetically speaking, like the Zestimate on Zillow, because that's under the impression that everything in the home is like in good condition and working well, right? So wouldn't that be kind of the closest thing to an ARV?
The Zestimate is a comp, but I would take it a step farther and look farther into. I like Zillow. A lot of people may not, but you just got to know how to filter through Zillow. So don't necessarily take the Zestimate. Pull up the map that shows you the properties that have sold in the area, and pull up each one of those properties that is around that subject property and look at it, because that Zestimate can be pulling in new construction, rehab, all types of stuff that Zestimate is pulling in. So you want to pull up that map so you could determine what which one of those comps is morally closer to your property and what you're trying to do. Just kind of an extra filter. Zestimate is cool, but I like to take it a step farther to just look at the type of properties that have sold around it.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
And then I one last thing, and then I'll bounce here. I know you guys have been on the live. I wrote down last time what you told me, Ty, about kind of the sequence. I just want to make sure that I have it right this time. I think I do. So it's text to flip, then batch leads, and then skip to flip. Is that right? In the sequence, I want to register the. Sorry, I want to make sure. Sorry.
Well, if you're trying to build a list, you're using Dilulator, aka prop string, right?
Yeah.
Need that.
The Cadillac of the equation.
Yeah, the Cadillac.
Cadillac, and then the prop strings, the GMC. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then if you do skip to flip, that'll take you to skip vault. That's the Lexus Toyota sample. And then text to flip is the Acura Honda.
Oh man, that's a good one. Wait a minute. Okay, text to flip, Acura Honda. Wait a minute. So Dilulator, then skip to flip, and then skip. What was that? Skip vault.
Which is that's skip vault. The skip flip and skip vault is going to take you to skip vault, and then text to flip is going to take you to batch leads. And I get people say, well, why won't I just go to the Toyota, Honda, and the Nissan? Because you're going to get a special discount. You're going to be able to ride in luxury to get to where you want to go.
So, all right, just to recap: Dilulator first.
Yes.
Then
to flip.
Okay, then to flip.
And then text to flip.
And then text to flip. Okay, so you have so many softwares, man. It's gnarly. So,
and you need them all.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So
Dilulator are good. It helps you to.
I agree.
Dilulator, skip to flip, text to flip. Okay. And then one other thing, and this will be the last one. I know, like you guys say, you have a program. And I brought this up last time, but if I need a cash buyer, do I just go ahead and text you? Or do I go to maybe
you submit that through Dilulator.com?
Through Dilulator, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, hey, thanks for having me on a second time, guys, and really appreciate it. And I'll be around next week.
Yes, sir.
All righty, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
All right. So earlier we had the question from Daniel from NYC about multiple properties that he can't find buyers. So Daniel, you're on. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
We're well. So
Flip man.
You're coming across deals, but you can't find properties and you can't find buyers, and your properties are in New York?
Correct. I'm actually in California, and I'm coming across properties in New York. I've come across maybe about 4 or 5 in the last 4 or 5 months, and they've actually fallen through because I just can't seem to find a cash buyer for them. For instance, today, I actually have a property under contract with a woman out in Binghamton, New York. It's a 7-bedroom, 2-bath. It's actually used for student housing for the most part. She has it we've actually got it under contract over for about 69.5. I've done my research as far as comps. I've got properties in that area that are selling for as high as 140.
What? So is it a lot of activity in that area?
You know, and that's the thing, Ty, is that area, what I've noticed is that comps are all over the place. They're some of the, and I've gone on the Zillow map to look to see what's recently been sold in the area. And I've come across properties that have been sold within the last year that are sold from anywhere from 105 to 145. And that's pretty much where I'm at. I've tried posting the property on Facebook Marketplace. I've also posted it with the Facebook groups that I have in New York. You know, get a lot of tire kickers, but nothing.
How far is that from the city?
You know, it's quite a ways out. It is quite a ways out. I actually reached out to Andrew over at Keegley. And he actually responded and said that they don't have anybody out in that area at this time. I've gone on your Dealulator to try to see if I can post it. I've noticed that area isn't on your.
We responded.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said that he.
Well, how long ago was it? Was it a day or two?
Yeah. It was,
I personally then evaluated that property. Then what was the response? The town was too small.
No, he just said that they didn't have anybody in that area, that he didn't know who he would be able to send it to as far as trying to get it to a seller.
And what was the name of the city?
Binghamton, New York.
Spell that.
Bingtonham. Binghamton.
Hold on.
Did I spell that right?
How far you say is from the main city?
I'm sorry?
How far from the main city?
How far?
You said quite some ways. What is quite some ways?
I'm sorry. One more time.
You said how far is the property from the city of New York?
You know, it's quite a ways out. It's out in the suburbs, out kind of in the outskirts.
I mean, what is counting some ways? I mean, an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes?
You know what? That's a good question. To be exact, I don't know. All I know is it's in Broome County.
Tell that again, man.
Binghamton. B-I-N.
You would have submitted it under your name, right?
Yeah, I submitted under my name. Andrew did respond. He just said that they didn't have anybody out in that area at this time.
Now he's saying Q responded.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about it, when you're looking for buyers and, you know, you got a property that's maybe not in an area that there's a lot of activity, your buyer source just decreases the farther out from a major hub or things of that nature. So, you know, what I like to do is more quality over quantity type of thing. So sometimes it's easier to spin your wheels in areas that there's just more buyers and more fish in the sea, especially when you're virtual wholesaling. Because it was different if you was like in the New York area, you could pull up around the area and, you know, and start talking to people or put some abandoned signs out and things of that nature. But without being able to do that, then I think it's just harder to find buyers in areas outside of main hubs, especially when you're virtual. You know, so sometimes it's just easier to spin your wheels on what really works. You know, it's a number game.
Yeah,
we can't find a buyer for all deals. That's why I like a lot of deals. So if one or two fail, it's okay, because there's other ones and more iron in the fire that you can focus on. So you want to hedge those deals because all deals you just won't be able to find a buyer for.
Right. Yeah. So I'm thinking at this point I should start looking and going to other cities and kind of leaving that area. But I think the fact is the only reason why I'm still there is because the deals, like for instance, this deal that I have under contract now, I mean, based off the numbers, I'm getting it at 50%. I'm pretty much picking up at about 50% of what it's worth, you know?
Yeah, but Yeah, but if it's not a lot of activity though,
Right.
that won't even matter for what we
Right.
do or whatever. But I don't see it. I don't see it in our system where it was sent to us or whatever.
Yeah, actually, I actually didn't put it into your system yet
Okay,
because I
okay,
noticed
okay.
that it showed that that the city wasn't on the list. You
Oh,
did
okay, that's
your
what you meant. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's
No,
I
no,
was
no.
gonna do it
You
today,
can
but
send if people read the entire page there at the bottom of the page on dealulator.com where you submit the deals. At the actual bottom, I'm glad you brought that up. I've been meaning to bring it up. It says if you don't see your city or market above, we still want your deals. Tap here to submit your deal now.
yeah, I've seen that. I'm as soon as I get back to the house, I'm probably just gonna submit it because, like I said, there's a big spread there. I'm just hoping that I can get something come across for me.
Well, yeah, go ahead and send them in, man, and we'll take a look at it and follow back up with you. But really,
And then another thing, you know, we talk about virtual wholesaling a lot, and although Ty got a really great a video out there, the guy just made 20,000 virtual wholesaling. But most importantly, to virtual wholesale, you just got to have, you know, a team in that area. So one of the things I probably recommend for you to just reach out to other wholesalers just in New York, because they were probably connected to buyers and cash buyers in New York that you could, you know, present that property to. So, you know, just network with other wholesalers and other investors in New York, build relationships with them and see if it's something, get their opinion. You know, people in New York would know if anyone is even out there looking at stuff out there, you know, or if it's, if it's even a good area that you should even spend your time into. So, you know, reach out to them and just try to get some more insight.
Right. Yeah, and this property is actually minutes from a pharmaceutical university that's there. So it's probably best used for student housing, but the owners actually told me that they've got people that come across just looking for a place to rent. I mean, they're renting out the rooms. The rent at this point right now is about $2,800 a month for a 7
It's a good
bedroom.
rental property, especially at 70, 60, 70,000. That's a good rental property. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if someone's interested in that area, will buy. It's just, you got to market.
I was even thinking of trying to come up and get the funds to try to pick it up myself and hold on to it. I mean, I'm still kind of, you know, again, I would have preferred to wholesale it, but I mean, if I can get the funding to pick it up myself, then I think it would be a good, you know, cash flow property to pick up.
Right.
Okay, well, hopefully we got your question answered, Daniel. Good luck on that property. Just make sure you submit it as Ty mentioned so he can take a look at it, okay?
I will. Thanks. I appreciate it.
No worries. Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Yep.
Creole Caribbean Queen, you've been waiting patiently. Where are you calling from?
Oh, no dice.
Oh, no dice. Okay, Ada Hush, get yourself out. Well, Ashley, why are you looking like you're bored? Yes, talk to me. Cincha. I'm on the screen. I'm like, you know, I can see you before you get on, right? I'm talking to you too, Tim. I see you. Yeah, don't be smiling. What's your name? Where you from? Well, I know your name, Ashley. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So my question, actually, I have a few questions. I'm gonna try to keep it short because I know we've been live for some time. So I wanted to know. I'm just kind of getting started. I haven't gotten my first deal yet, but I'm really, really motivated to. What are some of the best lists to get, like more motivated sellers? Because I've been reaching a lot of people that I've not been interested in, not even selling.
What type of lists have you been creating before?
I've been driving for dollars, so I've been using those lists, skip tracing those.
Okay. People that you targeting. When you drive for dollars, what are you looking for? Just out of curiosity.
Boarded homes, like dead like plants, grass, grass high.
The normal stuff.
No.
Okay. Do you ever target landlords for rent?
No.
Okay. You when you see those generic red and white or black and white signs, Normally that's going to be the owner of the property. Sometimes it still may be a property manager or a realtor, but a lot of times that's going to be the owner. Those are the signs you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, somewhere like that. And so what you're hoping is that you're catching a tired landlord, and how that conversation will go. You'll call them and ask them, is the property still available, where it is or not? It doesn't matter. And your question is, well, I'm not calling about renting your property. Would you be interested in selling it? He may say yes. Okay, then you'll go ahead and go through your normal thing, find fact finding about the property or whatever. If he says no, your follow-up question would be, well, do you have any other properties that you may be interested in selling? If he says yes, you fact find the property, make your offer, or hopefully he makes, gives you a price. If he says no, thank him for his time. Let him know to keep your number. If he changes his mind in the future, you would probably be interested. All right. So definitely pay attention to that. For sale by owner, obviously you want to call those. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Just never know. It's all about timing with a lot of this. Now, that's just the driving for dollars because you're not really spending any money, maybe a little gas money and time. But if you're going to actually build a list that you're going to target, whether it's cold call or text message, ring the voicemail, direct mail, broadcast, voice broadcasting or whatever, then that's a different animal in itself. If you want to know how to build those lists, either one of my videos on Text to Flip or Skip to Flip, I think I go through the process of building lists and the criteria that I use, but you don't have to do exactly what I did. You can play with it or whatever. If assuming you have the deregulated prop stream software or whatever. If you don't, well, I get it, but I'm just saying that's the other way. So hopefully that gives you some other ideas with the targeting the landlords, and you can target those online and offline. Obviously, the offline I just explained. The online, Zillow for rent, Facebook Marketplace for rent, Craigslist for rent sections. A lot of times now, those will be property managers or realtors. You're just going to have to filter through. And some of them may be receptive. Sometimes those will be sources for buyers or whatever, because their clients are wanting to buy more properties, which means more revenue for them or whatever, for managing fees or whatever. So you can reverse that, as they say, reverse wholesale that also. So.
Okay, and what was your other question, love?
So just out of opinion, what would you say is the best way to contact these sellers? Like texting, cold calling? What would you say would be the best way that you have tried to contact sellers?
Really?
I mean, I would say this from based on the things that Ty's recently said. Text messaging is the new wave of getting your message to the seller without them having to answer the phone. But it's all the above. I mean, you want to call someone, get them on the phone, and try to get some information from them. Text them as well. Send them a yellow letter. I mean, all of them work. But I would definitely say getting that client on the phone, or getting a text in their phone, having them to follow up with you. I think those are some of the two best ways of communicating and just getting to them directly. I like calling them on the phone, or texting over sending a letter, because when I send a letter, I put the ball in their court, and I'm hoping that they call me. Versus if I get their phone number, the ball is my court. It's just a matter of me getting them on the phone or texting them,
Mm-hmm. So would you say that texting, so if you use texting first, would you say texting, then call, and then that'll be your follow-up sequence? Or how would you, what is
I
it
think
different
either
every
one
time?
works. Maybe give them a call and text works as well. I mean, give them a call, leaving a voice message, texting. I think either one, do both.
Okay.
Do both. Yeah.
Okay. And last question.
If they don't text you back, give them a call. So you may decide to text first, and then no one texts you back, give them a call.
If you're gay about it, you go knock on the door first.
Where's the bacon time? Where's the
if you're gay, you knock on the door first, then cold call, text, and then direct mail. But if you're a poodle like myself, you're gonna probably text first, Call second, direct mail, then send somebody to knock on the door.
I think I'm a labradoodle somewhere in the middle. Somewhere. So I'm gonna play around with it.
A little gator, but you know.
I have one last question before we get off. So, what is the minimal sign that you would get from somebody, like say you're on the phone with somebody and they're not the most motivated? What is that minimal sign to tell yourself, like, I need to follow up with this person?
If they give you a price, not a ridiculous price, even if they give, if it's not, if it's, it can be full price, but definitely if it's under full price, it just doesn't make the cut for a wholesale deal. You know what I'm saying? You definitely want to follow with them. You know, it's just outside of what you need to make it work for you on a wholesale deal, but it's definitely not retail. Those are the people you definitely want to follow up. You can follow up with them all, but those are maybe a little hotter than the others. You know, what do you think, Renee?
I definitely agree. I mean, anyone that's giving you some type of feedback, activity, they acting like they want to sell. I mean, I'll just continue to follow up with them. But some of those, like Todd said, some of them are hotter than others. Some people give you a ridiculous price, so it's almost like, maybe I follow up with them, once a month. I mean, once a year, twice a year, every 3 months. But there are some people that, kind of on the fence of, wanting to sell kind of closer to your number. You just continue to follow up with them, So I think you will feel that way through. I think when someone don't want to talk anymore, but when you get that irate client too, it's like, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you in about 90 days or so and see if you are still, maybe interested now in selling it at an offer that, I'm willing to provide or whatever the case may be. So, fill them through. I think the conversation itself will tell you if you need to follow up with them or put them on the back burner, sticky note them, Yeah.
Right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for all that you do, all the education. I really appreciate that. I bet we all do.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Tim. Oh, actually, that's Creole.
No, we gotta get Tim. We gotta get Tim.
I know. Hold on, Miss Creole.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, we're gonna come back. We can't do you like that,
I appreciate it. What's your question? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I just want to thank y'all so much, man. I sent you a check yesterday, a picture of a check yesterday, Ty.
Okay, yeah. That's what's up.
Yes, sir, man. I gotta thank all three of y'all, man. Y'all done changed my life, man. It's crazy. I'm so excited right now, man. It's unbelievable. It's like I got a check coming next week. Already.
In the middle of the pandemic, we closed the check.
Right. COVID has literally changed my life for the better. And I appreciate you all. I want to thank you all for that as well.
All right, that's what's up.
My question is, I'm just getting my check. I stay in Greenville, South Carolina. It's literally 2 hours away from Charlotte, literally 2 hours away from Atlanta. Right in the middle. We're up and coming, but we're not as big as either of the two. So my question is, would you recommend virtual wholesaling?
What is it, Greenville or is it South Carolina or North Carolina?
Greenville, South Carolina.
South Carolina population. I love to look at population.
About 500,000.
Well, hold on.
Greenville is a big deal. So what are your questions? You don't think that's enough activity in Greenville?
Well, what I'm showing, the MSA, the Metropolitan Statistical Area is 920,000. Birmingham is only 1.2. You're right there. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about Charlotte and Atlanta. You can eat good in Greenville. Now you can get to those if you want to, but you can eat good in Greenville.
Okay,
and that's just that entire market now. That what they consider with the suburbs, the other municipalities.
Now I think the metro would be considered Greenville and Spartanburg because it's kind of like Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah. It says Greenville, Anderson, and Malden.
Okay, that's kind of the same thing then. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say you would recommend me staying focused in this area?
Go 100, man. You cashing checks. You already cashing checks.
Absolutely.
If
Okay.
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
I'm not
But
saying
it's
not to
okay. I
I'm
mean,
not
if you
saying not
want
to expand to
to
those areas,
add
but
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wanted to just neglect here. I'm just saying I really wanted to focus on virtual wholesaling rather than just sticking in here because I don't plan
What
on
about
staying here.
the great thing about virtual wholesaling, you can be there and still move real estate in other places. So I think you have the ability to do both
Okay.
at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do both.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Thank both of y'all. Thank all three of y'all.
I just said just
Again,
because
y'all.
y'all see me don't mean you can't thank me.
I can thank you because you're here. You're here every week, and you're doing this every week. So I want to thank you too.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we be definitely discombobulated when Adrian's not here, but
I've seen
just a
those
little
shows.
bit, just a
I've
little
seen
bit,
those
just a little
shows.
bit. I didn't mean to throw a shot like that.
Exactly. Exactly. I've seen those shows.
I
So
just need to show up. That's all.
Put a little respect on my name.
exactly.
Adrian.
Again, I want to thank y'all. Thank y'all.
No, thank
Again,
you
and
for
anybody
educating.
else thinking about doing this, go for it. Take action. I waited like 4 years before I took action.
Oh wow.
And within a month, literally within a month, I'm cashing checks.
Wow.
All right.
Go hard.
That's
That's your market right there. Your market is right there in your backyard.
All right. Thank you for the positive word and good luck to you. Good luck to you. Continue binging, grinding, and stacking them checks, Tim. Absolutely. All right. Bye-bye. All right, Miss Creole Caribbean Queen. I see you. How you doing? You've been waiting patiently, love, and I greatly appreciate that. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Her internet's slow.
Oh man.
Oh, can you guys see me?
We see you.
Okay. Can you guys see me? I think it may be my connection.
Are you moving?
She's still.
Oh, you see? Okay. Sorry. Hi, Ty. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. What'd you say?
I mean, are you driving? No, she's still.
Man. Oh, dang, nabbit.
Keep talking. We can hear you.
No, I'm not driving. I'm literally just sitting in the car. Is this better?
Yeah, roll with it. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If I can't get this tonight, I'm never going to live here. Okay, good. All right. I'm in Miami, Florida. Florida. And I just started watching on Saturday. So I got in my car on Monday and I started looking for cars, looking for deals. Driving for dollars is what I chose. But there was one house that I saw. I actually have about 50 houses on the list, but there's one house in particular where it's in a state. I went on the city and I started looking at information about that house, and it's in a state. Apparently, the neighbor told me that the owner of the property died a few years ago, and daughter literally just away from the house, left everything, the refrigerator, everything. So for 2 years, the house has been unoccupied, but they haven't paid the taxes. My thing is, it's a state. How do I find the attorney? Like I can't even the documents are not even telling me who to contact to see if they're willing to even sell the house.
Okay, so you have a house that's in Miami, Florida, that's been unoccupied for about 2 years. You talked to the neighbor, the daughter, whoever was living in the home just up and left everything in the house. So now you're trying to figure out how to get in contact to see if they're even remotely interested in selling the property, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Rennie, go.
Okay, so that's a good question. So I will start off with going to the property records. Did you that? Did you pull up the property records to see who's the owner of the property?
Wow. It's going in and out, and I can't really hear what you're saying. I think you said something about the property records. The property records, I went on the Miami-Dade County.gov information about houses. So I was able to pull it up that way. And it said that it's the estate of the person who owned the home. So I'm assuming that an attorney has it now because the taxes are being paid on the property. However, the property is like run down. I mean, they have not maintained it at all, but the taxes are being paid. So I'm just trying to find out, you know, hurricane season is coming.
What is the
Air
name?
in the house are literally overlapping on the neighborhood.
What is the name on
What
the
is the
property
name?
record? Mm-hmm.
Is that what?
Yes. What's the
It
name on the
says
property
the
record?
state of, let me see, I have it right here. It says the state of, I'll get it to you right now. Here we go. Estate. I have the, okay, yes, the state of Jose Muela. That's Muela. State of Jose Muela. And it's located, listen, if anybody from Miami on here, don't go stealing my deal. It's at
That's what you need to find.
18410 Northwest 40.
Is the
Come again?
address, is the mailing address different in the property records than the subject property?
No, I was looking to see if the
the same.
It's not.
But
No, I was looking
your
that
focus
for that
right
also
now
see
is
the mailing
to
address
find
is the
Hosea.
exact same.
You got to find Hosea.
Jose has passed away. Hosea has
Hosea passed away.
So if it's his name that's on, he's passed away. Yeah, Jose
So
Muela
you
passed away
want
2 years ago.
to skip
So
trace Hosea and find any family members who know Hosea, skip trace them and call them and let them know that you want to buy that property. And if they can get you to the person who's over Hosea's estate, so you can buy it. So now you got to find a family member of Hosea so they can get you to whoever it is over his estate.
Okay. I'll do that. Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, love. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But hopefully we were able to answer your question for you. Guys, y'all are awesome. Y'all rock. I see there go them frowning faces again. I ain't even seen them frowning faces before. First of all, Todd, I see that you gave me a frowning face. I'm calling you out. Okay. So, guys, wonderful show this evening. As you notice, we've been on longer than we normally have the last 2 weeks because we're trying to make sure we're getting your questions answered and the live questions. And I think the live questions are really helping you guys because the follow-up questions, as Ty has mentioned earlier, is where we normally are lacking because we're not able to immediately come back and ask, hey, what did you mean by this or clarify this or that? So it's really working well. As we mentioned last week, make sure that you go ahead and post these questions in the video. Ty still comes back and answers your questions once the video is posted to YouTube. So there's still opportunity.
Well, 2 things before we go. I'll admit. Remember, I'm still doing the free courses. If you do the TikTok thing, if you don't know how to do it, just text me and I'll text you the video explaining how to do it. But you can get my courses on wholesaling houses and apartments. Just text me and I'll text you the video to explain how it works. 205-492-3425. 205-492-3425. Also, if I'm not going to say what I'm going to barter, but if you got some time and you understand the jargon or whatever, you know when I'm making a point, something that may be entertaining, trying to create content from this content, I need some time stamping done, and from 15 to 52 seconds. We'll just like 15 to 50 second clips or whatever of these shows or whatever, especially the last 2, number 150 and 151. All you have to do is just set up an Excel spreadsheet. If you want help with it, I'll show you how mine look. I just really don't have the time to put into it, and I hate watching myself.
All right, me too.
Start time, end time, the video link, and that's pretty much it or whatever. So, and you probably can normally get anywhere from, I don't know, 15 or 20 of them out of one episode of these shows or whatever. So, so you don't have to say anything. We've been there 2 hours. This is the longest show ever. It's the longest show ever.
It's been great.
Renee, you got anything you want to say?
Hey, we done did it all. We left it on the table today.
All right, so thanks, and we will see you on the
Flip man. It's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.